So today I'm going to show you guys how you can create this animation right here. So you can see we actually have two different styles. One on the left where it's basically like a little brittle breaking, and then the one on the right where it just create madness. Let's watch it one more time. So without further ado, let's hop into Blender and let's get started. So here we are in Blender. I'm using version 3.1.2 and my screencast keys are in the bottom right corner so you guys can see exactly what I'm clicking and typing. Now let's go ahead and let's start off by clicking on the default cube, and guess what? We're not actually going to delete it this time. We're going to just press letter G, move it, press Z to move it up to Z axis, press number 1, nice and neat right above. Perfect, like this. Okay, and now let's go ahead and let's go to this edit mode right over here. Go to preference, make sure you guys are on add-on, type in cell fracture, and then go ahead and add that if you don't have it already. And now we are good to go. Alright, so there are two ways you can go about going and adding the cell fracture. You can press F3, just type it in just like this, and you'll see it there. You can also go to objects, go here to quick effect, it's right there as well. But before we do that, we're gonna actually go and draw onto our object. So here we have this annotate on the object mode option. So click it, hold, and then just drag over to annotate. And now we have this annotate pencil. So now we have to switch this to the surface so that we can actually draw along our object. And you can see here, you can pretty much draw. It doesn't have to be perfect, but basically once I draw my little shape right there, then I can go back to my object, go to quick effects. Make sure you do have it highlighted so you can tell by the orange outline, and then you hit cell fracture. And now we have this big screen that looks scary, but don't worry. Basically, since we use the annotation pencil, we just need to click here. And then the source limit, essentially how many pieces you want your thing to break up. The higher the number, obviously will be more, but your computer will suffer. And for tutorial's sake, I don't mind to explode, so I'm going to keep it at the base. And some people do like 150, 200 plus. It just depends really on what you're making. And then you have other options here like recursion and additional options. But for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to keep it to what you need just to make the simple effects. And then I'll welcome you to go in and adjust these depending on what you like to. Now here's the one thing though, scene and collection. So basically when this starts to go into effect, it's gonna make like hundreds of pieces, and you want this to go somewhere. So collection is essentially like we have over here, little file area where it saves all your pieces, and I'm just gonna call this one, let's just say like fracture. You can name it pieces, you can name it whatever you want to, particles. Then when you click OK, just watch the magic happen. Look at this. It's concentrated in the area where I drew. And then if you want to, you can press W to go back to the arrow, or just simply click on it now. And now you can see we have this. Now if you're like, yo, I don't like this blue line, get this out of my face, don't worry, go over here, annotate, go back here. Then click on this little note down arrow and just click the little eyeball. Okay, and there you go. Okay, so now, as we got so far, and look how we created this collection called Fracture. Look at this. We got this super neat. We got all our original stuff, and then we have literally hundreds of pieces. So if we were to technically tab into edit mode, you can't really see it, but if you do Shift Z, now you can see it looks like spider webs right now. But as you can tell, it's all concentrated in the area where I drew. So if you want it to be more crazy, obviously, you know, scribble up. But so far, this is what we got going on. And then what we can do now is start adding some stuff to it. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and just click on the cube, go in here, and we technically can just like click into this and click on another object. So I'll just click, let's do one that's just simple. I'll click like number 1 here. So in reality, it doesn't matter which one you click as long as you just know that you clicked that one. And basically, we're gonna add some physics. So go over here, and as you can see, this little circle, and if you hover over and say physics property, click on this. And now what we need to do is add rigid body. So click on my man's right here. And then basically, for the most part, there's not much we really need to mark right now. Obviously, you can change the friction, which regards to essentially, it depends on the type of model you're using, but it's really visible when you use like clots. But pretty much like friction in real life where it doesn't move, or if it's less friction, it's either more slippery. So that's just basically how far you want your particles to be moving around. And then also we have sensitivity down here. Then collections and dynamics are down here too. But for the most part, we're not going to really mess with this stuff right now. But just watch if I bring this up here, and then I'll just make sure I'm back onto the starting keyframe, and I just press spacebar, and you can see that, look, if you didn't notice, that our guys right here just fell to the abyss. All right, so now that what we want to do is add this physics property onto our 100 plus pieces. Now you're probably like, yo, I'm not gonna do this individually clicking, that's gonna take forever. So make sure if you have other stuff in your viewport, just change to an angle where it's pretty much just where you can select it. So while you have this selected, hold shift and then just click drag just like you normal select. So now you can see you have everything selected, but remember you had your original cube or your first piece of particle that you were selected with this active right here. And then what we can do is go to object over here, and then if you want to go, you see this rigid body option, and basically we have multiple options, but the one we need to do is copy from active. And what this does, it will copy every single thing that we have essentially, aka we only have this rigid body on it, onto every single other thing. So now if you see, if I click here, I don't even know what number this is, I click anywhere over here, you can see that this rigid body is still maintaining its options. You see that. Now there's one issue, right? Now it depends. This isn't really an issue unless it is an issue. So what I mean, right now if you see mass, basically that means how much something weighs. So if you're from the States, basically kilogram, it's there. Almost the entire world uses kg for weight, but US obviously uses pound. Basically though, everything is the exact same weight. And if your effect, which I actually use some effects where it's like this because when I drop something, it will disperse evenly just so it has like a cooler effect for me. But if you want it to look more natural and actual like realistic, some of these pieces, they're much bigger, will definitely not weigh the same. So what you can do is you can just click into any of these, and then just shift click basically out of all and highlight everything pretty much, and then go to object here, go back to your body, and click on calculate mass, and then you can choose between certain options here. I've seen some people use brick, some people use limestone, some people use marble, and you know what, let's do marble. I haven't used that one in a while, so let's just click that one, and look at this. Now you can see my highlighted one I had selected is already 228. Click over here, 700. That is a big piece. Look at that. Click on here, it's 167. This one is, oh, that's the total. 5, you can see here like the little ones, and basically like 61. And you get the point. Basically what that calculated mass did is it dispersed the weights of each piece equally depending on essentially the percentage that it takes up. For here, I don't know the exact algorithm, but that's basic math for that. So now if we were to press space, look at what happens. It explodes. And I think it's because I accidentally added a rigid body onto this cube. So that's something I noticed when I was trying to learn this first time. Everyone had different effect, but if you're having this issue where you press space and it explodes, you can see our clear culprit is this guy right here. And basically why is it exploding is because something else has a rigid body that shouldn't, and hence it's essentially like on top of it, and then basically it just, I don't know exact behind the scenes, but basically it does not like that. So pretty much our cube fracture piece is all we really need to take care of. This cube itself technically doesn't need to be in the current site right now. So look at this. We have it rigid bias. If I were to hit X off here and just close the eye, now you can see our original pieces right here. So now if I hit space, you can see everything falls perfectly just like that. So if you ever had that issue while you were trying to do this effect, I just solved it for you basically. And I would still keep this, don't delete this yet, because the problem, as you can see, is if you were making something that's much more detailed in like the rendered view, you can actually physically see these cracks. Now, obviously, if you're like a super far distance, maybe it's not as important, but there's a trick to where pretty much you have it showing for the first keyframes, and then the minute like your object gets about to break, then you would just hide it from the viewport, which I'll show you guys how to do that, don't worry. But so far, this is what we got going on right now. Perfect. So shift back left arrow puts us back here. And don't forget to save this. Let's make sure I'm just go E. Actually, E. Let's go here and save. And go ahead and save this. Name it whatever you want to. And then we continue from there. So now what I want to do is make it to where when we play this, the cube just breaks and it doesn't fall like this. So first off, let's do Shift 8. Mesh, add a plane, and let's do scale. Let's just press S and let's do like 10. Okay. Now if I were to press the play button, guess what? It falls through because you know why? There's no physics. There's no physics on our plane. So what do you have to do? Well, rigid body, change it to passive, and now watch this. Look at this. Look at this. Look. Oh my God, we're done. Boom. Just kidding. So we got the first effect. Now, if that's all you really wanted to do was just show people that you can make a block fall down and just do that, congratulations. Mission accomplished. But that's not really what anyone can do this. What you want to know is how to make it to where when it hits something, aka something falls on top of it, it will break into pieces like this. Alright, so now let's just say this really quick. The way we do this is first off, now let's just Shift A again. So I'll click off first, Shift A. And let's do a cube, a little different. And I'll just do G, Z, move it up, and let's just scale it a little bit like this. Now, see right now, the problem is if I were to just hit space, it's automatically moving. It's already breaking. So what we can do is click on a fracture here, right click it, select objects, and then let's make sure we're actually going to need to do, instead of doing this, we're going to have to click on one and just copy this again. So basically click here. And what I want to do is go here to deactivation and basically click this and then just click on start deactivation. So now if I hit play, right now not much is happening yet, but don't worry. We first need to, let's hide this plane really quick. So while we have this selected, make sure you hold shift and then highlight everything. And then we gotta do everything again because we just changed a new value. And if you want to make this on every piece, then obviously we have to do what we just did earlier, which is go back to rigid body and copy from active. Now the issue is if I do copy from active, it's going to copy the weight for everything too. So now everything is literally 54.1 kg. So what we have to do is make sure we click on another piece, shift click them all again, and then let's go back to rigid body and calculate mass. Oh wait, bro, what happened? Go back to rigid body, calculate mass, and let's go back to marble broken. All right, now you click limestone, you click on brick, whatever you want. Okay, so now we click them and we can see that the masses are being updated. So let me do Command or Control S to save it real quick. And now when I hit play, look at that. Look. Nothing is happening. So then we go put the plane back. Check that out. Nothing's happening because we had this deactivation part. So now this is where the fun stuff goes. Now when I click on this line right here, let's add rigid body. And let's go ahead and let's just see what happens. It falls and look. Did you see that? It broke it. It broke it. If I want to move it over here, go boom, it broke. Now this looks cool, but the problem is it's basically programmed based off of it's up here, right? But what happens if you want to put something on the side and like go through? If I play, it's just gonna fall, right? So basically, the way you do it, let's go back here. Let me do Command Z. Pretty much what you want to do is create essentially animation, a keyframe. So let me Command Z again. I don't know why it's putting my man right there. Okay, so let's do this first. Let's go to our cue camera right here. Let me press 0. Let me see. Hold on. Camera view is right there. And it looks like, hold up. Let me say this really quick. And I forgot I just updated Blender to a new version. That's why everything is reset. So what I need to do is go back to our edit, preference, and let me see where input. Let's do emulate numpad. So now that should work because I don't have a numpad on my computer. There we go. Okay, so now when I press Z, there we go. Look at that. Okay, perfect. So now there's our camera. And then I can do shift tab. That should, okay, yeah. So shift little asterisk goes like this, and then I can basically just move this back a little bit. Now depending on your screen, if you don't like this view, you can also go here too and shift it up you know, left and right, but I'm gonna do it mainly like that. And now let's focus on first making this do the actual braking, but automated to where it's like moving. So let me move the camera like a little bit higher and a little bit higher. That way I can just show you exactly what I mean. All right, so now we are in this view, and in the previous version of Blender, before, what I had to do was I had to go up here and add some animations, and then basically have like it animated, then unanimated, and then go through. But it seems like on the new 3.1.2, it's already doing everything that you technically, you don't even have to do anything. You just basically move this cube up here or whatever object and just straight up drop it, and it breaks it automatically, and it falls according to obviously the objects there, which is so much easier. Now, before you could add like the speed and the effect velocity and stuff, which you still could technically keyframe if you wanted to, but it seems like the new version, it's much easier now. And if you're like, hey, I don't like this, it's so slow, what is this? I'll show you guys. This is a cool little trick. Is you go here, click on this icon, little triangle circle thing, go here to rigid body world, and then basically just change the speed. So you want to go a little fast? You want to go fast? Check this out. Boom. Look at that. And you can see it just rolled even farther. So it's actually affecting it in like realistic view. So let me say this really quick. And then if you wanted to, if you had more complex things, for example, we go here to the base again. Tell me this is 1 kilogram. So now if I were to raise this up to like 100 and then just go like this, see, it looks like that. And then let's change this to like 1,000. And let's go like this again. And you can see it changes as the weight increases. Now, if you wanted like a different effect, you could change everything to a lower kilogram. But obviously, we can also scale this up even larger. Put like 10,000. And it's not going to be as crazy because I don't have much particles or pieces. But the more you have, this will look way different. And you just go like that. And basically now you have your effect like this. So let's just go back to like 10. And then let's go back here. I'll scale it down. And now if you wanted to add a new object, Shift A. Let's do a monkey, for example, GZ. Let's go up here. For this guy, let's just click out of him. Go here. Rigid body, just like that. And boom, now we have a monkey attacking it too. So again, it's basically once you have everything set up, I'm gonna Command Z out of this so we can keep everything here. That's pretty much how it is. So now when you go in, you can actually go here and render everything. And then also one thing I forgot to show you is that on the cell fracture, go back here and let's go here. The materials, if you have more than one color, material 1 basically, and keep going up, it will change the outer and inner parts of your design. But that's pretty much the simple way to do it. Now once you add some colors, different styles, once we go play, and here's the final result. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.